Apparently you all like my movie ideas, so maybe I should just drop everything and become a big-time movie writer. Obviously, I'm just kidding. Hey everyone, what's going on, and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and today I'm bringing you the top 10 scary real stories that should be turned into movies, part 3. Starting off this countdown, we have the case of Cindy Song. Cindy Song was a 21-year-old senior at Penn State University. In 2001, on Halloween night, she disappeared and was never seen again. Now, to this day, this case still remains unsolved. So on Halloween night, Cindy returned home from a party around 4 a.m. She dropped off her bag, cell phone, and took off her false eyelashes. However, Cindy herself was nowhere to be found. So police don't know where Cindy went. Was she kidnapped or murdered? No one knows. Now, a criminal named Paul Weekly did describe a woman that matched Cindy's description, saying that he kidnapped a woman in the area who he thought was a prostitute. He then admitted to killing her and multiple others. The police did find the other bodies, but not Cindy's. They think that he just made up this story in hopes for a lesser sentence. So, here's my opinion on this case. We don't truly know if Cindy made it home safe. The friend that dropped her off didn't hang around to make sure she got inside her apartment. So someone could have kidnapped her and taken her keys to return some of her belongings. That way it looked like she did return home. Either way, this case needs to be turned into a movie. Moving on to number 9, we have the shoe in the riverbed. Now, this story surrounds two friends out on a road trip. They were headed to New Mexico when they decided to pull over near a river dam. Upon exploring the river, one of the friends recalls feeling as if they were being watched. That was when they came across a bone on the ground. It resembled a spinal cord, but they believed that it just belonged to an animal. As they continued on, they saw a weird rust-colored rock sticking out from the sand. By this rock, there was a half-buried little girl's shoe. The friend went to go kick the shoe into the river, but he heard a little girl's voice say, "No, don't. Please." Then the friends found another bone. Eventually, they called the police and found out that the rust-colored rock was actually a part of a pickup truck that was carrying a man, a woman, and their daughter. But what happened? Did the family just crash off the road? Did somebody drive them off the road? This needs to be explored in a movie. Maybe the two friends go on to investigate and solve other mysterious cases while also coming in contact with ghosts. In our 8th spot, we have the White Woman. So a Connecticut couple was driving along a winding forest road one day when they encountered a pale woman in a long white gown in the middle of the road. Thankfully, they swerved out of the way and avoided her. When they looked back, she was no longer there. Upon researching the history of the town, they discovered a woman named Sarah Bishop. Sarah lived in a cave in the woods and would dress up in a long white gown only for church every Sunday. But in 1810, she passed away after freezing to death, so they encountered Sarah's ghost that day. Now, if they make this into a movie, then it should be about Sarah's life, like why was she living in the cave, for how long, etc. And then maybe make it a little more spooky, maybe have her ghost haunt the town members, who knows. Coming in at number 7, we have Kathy Hobbs. Now, there are a lot of people out there that have experienced premonitions. Personally, I've had dreams of stuff happening and then the next day it comes true, but nothing scary. It's just like what my mom's making for dinner or a specific worded text from my friend. Now, this woman named Kathy Hobbs had a premonition, but this time it allowed her to predict her own death. However, she sadly wasn't able to avoid it. So all throughout her life, Kathy would get premonitions of herself dying at age 16. This actually made her develop agoraphobia and she didn't want to leave her house. Shortly after her 16th birthday, she believed that she was no longer in danger. However, on her way back home from buying a book, she was attacked and murdered. That is extremely scary and sad. But I think they could make a movie loosely based off of Kathy's story. Like, maybe it's about a woman that can predict other people's deaths and then tries to save them before she is faced with her inevitable death. In our 6th spot, we have the sleeping sickness. So from 1917 to 1928, 500,000 people suffered from a sickness called the sleeping sickness. This caused their bodies to be in a frozen type state while their mind was still active. About a third ended up dying, and the survivors were left with limited speech and body movements. Now, what causes this is unknown, although people have theorized that it might have something to do with brain inflammation. But what's the weirdest thing about that is that it disappeared randomly and everyone was fine for years, and then it just reappeared suddenly again. So what is truly causing this? Does a higher power have control of our bodies? Or is it an illness created by the government? Someone make a movie with these theories, please. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the doppelganger. Now, it's said that everyone has their own doppelganger, someone who looks eerily just like yourself. But it's said that if you meet your doppelganger, then you will be faced with bad luck. Let me know in the comments below if you have met your doppelganger or who your celebrity twin is. And let me know in the comments what celebrity I look like. I've gotten Caitlin Dever, Alexis Bledel, and even Jessie Barden. Anyways, this one woman claims that she has seen a strange doppelganger version of herself in her own home. So she said that several times in the night she would see herself standing in a mirror. Her husband even said that one night he saw his wife sit up and crawl backward to the end of the bed and stand up by the door. Turns out his wife never moved and was still laying beside him. So who is this version of herself that she is seeing? Is it herself from another universe? Her evil doppelganger? Or a ghost trying to embody her? In our 4th spot we have the blackbirds. So on New Year's Eve in 2010 in Arkansas, 5,000 blackbirds started behaving unusually. They slammed into buildings, phone poles, and trees and died instantly. People just brushed this off, saying that they were probably just spooked by the fireworks. But then it happened again next year on New Year's Eve. This time there was a ban on fireworks and none were used. So why were so many birds dying? Well, people believe that this was a warning that the end is near. Now, before you comment down below saying there's already a movie made, it's called The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. Okay, I know. But I'm thinking that there should be a movie about a bunch of omens that keep warning individuals for the end of the world. The birds would just be one example. Or maybe they experience this bird omen and then there truly is an apocalypse. But no one has realized that it has happened. Slowly more signs start to show that in fact they have died from an apocalypse and are living in a different world or different reality. Moving on to number 3, we have the disappearance of Bobby Dunbar. Literally another case that I wish we had answers to. So in 1912, Bobby Dunbar went missing while on a trip to Swayze Lake. He was missing for 8 months until they found Bobby traveling with his kidnapper. Or so they thought it was Bobby. The kidnapper said that the boy's name was Bruce Anderson, but police ignored that and returned this boy to the family. But even the Dunbars didn't recognize their son. They said his eyes were too small and Bobby didn't even recognize his brothers. But after seeing the boy's birthmarks and scars, they were convinced that it was their missing son. That was until a mother showed up claiming that it was her son Bruce and not Bobby. But the mother wasn't able to identify her son in a lineup, so the boy remained with the Dunbars. Way down the line when Bobby was grown up, they took DNA tests. Turns out he was actually Bruce Anderson, and that their true son Bobby was still missing. Now, the movie The Changeling is sort of like this, but it covers a completely different real-life case. I think for this movie, they just need to explore this particular case. In our 2nd spot, we have the Soder children. I wish that someone would get on solving these cases because I need answers, especially for this next one. So in West Virginia on Christmas Eve, George and Jenny Soder's home was burned down. Now, they had all 10 of their children in the home at the time of the fire. However, only 5 made it out. The other 5 seem to have disappeared without a trace. They don't believe that they perished in the fire because no evidence to this was found. Now, here's where it gets more strange. Apparently, a woman claimed to have seen the 5 children watching their house burn from a passing car. Then another woman claims she saw the children at a hotel a week after the fire accompanied by 4 strangers. So were the 5 kids kidnapped? Who knows, but I need a movie made. And in our number 1 spot we have Friends to the End. So in Arkansas in the 1980s, 2 friends, Don Henry age 16 and Kevin Ives age 17, decided to go illegally hunting. Basically, they planned on spotlighting, which is when you shine a light in the animal's eyes, causing them to freeze, and then the other individual shoots them. So they set out on August 22nd in the evening near the train tracks that were behind Henry's home. However, hours later, their bodies were found resting on the train tracks and were run over by a train. Now, their deaths were ultimately thought to be from the train running them over. The coroner originally stated that they were asleep on the tracks after smoking 20 or more marijuana cigarettes. Yeah. Okay, that's hard to believe. But eventually they found out that one of the boys was already dead and the other was unconscious before the train ran them over. However, no one knows who killed these teens or why. All that we're left with is speculation. So one man came forward and said that the teens witnessed a drug drop in the area and were killed as a result. But no one knows if these claims are true. Although we don't fully know what happened that night, I would love a movie from these boys' perspectives. And that's all for today's video. Let's move on to our comment shoutout. I'll be shouting out comments from my video Top 10 Mysterious Crimes Solved by the Internet. C13 commented, "When she asked about weird combos for food, I immediately thought of the fact that I love dipping my fries into my Frosty and Wendy's, and the chicken nuggets and the cheese sauce and or Frosty is also really good. I have tried the fries and the Frosty, it's pretty good, can't lie, it's a good combination." Here's Chica commented, "I like the bloopers of Lizzie having trouble pronouncing words." Lizzie, yes, hi guys, my name is Lizzie. I mean, my nickname is Linz, but not Lizzie. I mean, you can call me Lizzie, whatever. The Water Walker commented, "Lindsay Ivan, you're a beautiful vampire, made my day better." Thank you, again with the vampire comments. And that's all the comments I'm shouting out today. Make sure you comment down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shoutout. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I'm your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see you.